Hi, I'm ASAP Flash. Joker has been out for the cinemas for over a week and has scored the highest opening for any R-rated October movie, and it broke $500 million in the box office. That's an impressive feat for a movie that is considered to have a low budget, which is around 50 million. This is good news, not only for DC moving forward, but comic book cinemas as a whole. I'm not dissing the MCU, I love the MCU. But not every movie needs to be another building block to an elaborate cinematic universe. Maybe movies can be what they are, just one off adventures, or in this case, a character study that begins and ends with a single movie. I don't know if this is going to be DCEU's approach move going forward, but props to this movie and this movie's success and everybody involved. So without out of the way, let's dive into the movie. From the start, we're introduced to the character who's already on the fringe of his mental health, and I love the way the opening scene is framed. From all the other clowns are talking amongst their respective groups, and Arthur just sitting by himself applying makeup, fighting his sadness by putting a smile on his face, a sentiment his mother would pass down to him. From the opening shot, it establishes how his character is just a man fighting to keep his outward appearance normal throughout the movie, his psyche slowly deteriorates. Even if things go bad, like him getting his ass beat by those kids, or Thomas Wayne again beating his ass, he still smiles. I mean, he's insane, but he still keeps his sanity by smiling a lot. But speaking of sanity, I feel like his initial breaking point is when he guns down those business bros on the bus, or no, the train actually, and later gets a bit of identity crisis. But more on that later. This movie has a funny way of distorting facts and confusing the audience with has seen which with which scene is authentic and which scene is of his imagination. For instance, Arthur gunning down the business bros is real, but him being the de facto leader of the riot seems a little far fetched. I love how I love the way how this movie pulls a reverse Fight Club. I mean, the plots are kind of similar. Both leads lose their identity and become something greater, and both followers embrace an identity. But I'm not here to compare movies. This movie is so good at making the audience feel these waves of emotion that Arthur is feeling. From trying to tell the jokes at the club to keeping it all together. You legitimately feel horrible when he's doing his best and all his feedback of negativity is bringing him down. But don't let that confuse you. Don't let your sympathy for the character confuse the shit that he did throughout the movie. I mean, it's pretty messed up. There's all those killings and all this other shit. But then again, this is the Joker. I think what's the most tragic thing about it, he so desperately wants to be something or someone when it comes to the realization that he's not a Wayne or a Fleck, but who is he? After getting rid of both identities, he feels free to become who is really meant to be. He becomes the Joker. And that's literally the name of the movie. As the movie ends, we're subtly teased with what happened in the movie is perhaps his imagination. A throwback to a small detail from earlier in the film where he's wearing the same clothes as he's wearing in that scene. By the way it's done, I'm not mad. Because the movie can be opened up for a myriad of interpretations. And since technically anybody can be the Joker, perhaps Arthur wasn't the definitive Joker, but he inadvertently inspired one of his followers to take the identity. Perhaps the one that killed the Waynes. Who knows? One last thing I want to add is when it being interviewed by what I think is a psychiatrist, she asked him what is funny, and he says, "You wouldn't get it. It's between me and him." I personally interpret that as he fully became the Joker and is confident about who he is, and that inside joke, as it were, is between him and Bruce Wayne, his supposed brother. I lied. I have another thing to add. We're led to believe that Fleck and Bruce are brothers, but according to medical records, that's false. I mean, look, it was probably a one night stand that Thomas regrets, realizes he fucked up, so he used his influence to fabricate a lie to get out of it. So I don't think it's accidental for the director to leave subtle clues that it was the fact that they are related. For instance, why would he leave a note, or why would the note read, "I love your smile, T.W." And it doesn't make a lot of sense for Arthur to be adopted and his mother to share the same diagnosis as he has. But it definitely fits in with the iteration of Thomas Wayne, a powerful man that uses his influence as bad for being a benevolent figure. But I say again, we're watching the movie through Arthur's perspective. So maybe Thomas is a nice guy, but I could fall down the rabbit hole endlessly going back and forth with myself. Anyway, comment down below on what your favorite part of the movie was. What was the other theories you might have about this film? And if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm out like the Flash, and I'll see you with another video.